Hey there, welcome to day 158 of the Get Your Goals Annual Challenge. Today we're going to talk about options in the sOap framework with respect to our financial goal using the six thinking hats. Six thinking hats is a brainstorming strategy. I've used it before. I haven't used it a lot, so I want to practice it some more. So we're going to use it today in order to think up and brainstorm options for what we can possibly do to get our financial goal. We set a goal yesterday. We told ourselves our current story about it, what's going on in our life right now with respect to this area of our finances. And mine is I'm adding an additional stream of income per month. And so my current situation is I don't have that stream. My desired situation is I want a stream of income that provides X number of dollars a month. And you have to just, I'm deciding what it is for me. Don't need to share it because it might, be a big number for some of you, a little number for others. So I will just say I'm adding a stream of income. So how am I going to do with that? We're going to use a technique called six thinking hats. And basically, we put on different hats, just like we do when we own a business or when we're a parent or when we play different roles in our life. And we think about possible solutions and options using that particular hat or filter. There's a white hat, red hat, black hat, yellow hat, green hat, and blue hat. So what do each of those stand for? I'm going to move my little duckies so I can see my notes. White hat is the first hat, the first thinking hat that we're going to put on, and we're going to think of solutions focusing on facts and data, focusing on the truth, the real information, what is true for us in this situation, and what are possible things, what information, what stats, what data, what things can we find that would help us to pick a solution or to brainstorm different solutions. Then we're going to put on our red thinking hat, and that's all about emotions and intuition. We're going to think about possible solutions and options, filtering them through our emotions and our intuition. What does our gut tell us we should or should not do with respect to this? Then we're going to put on our black thinking hat, and that is critical and cautious thinking. That's the options that are safest, that are least likely to cause us a lot of, I guess, drama, trauma, or hard work, because some people don't like hard work. Then we're going to put on our yellow hat, and the yellow hat is positive and optimistic thinking. Thinking outside the box, thinking as big as we possibly can about what might work for us as a solution to go from where we are to where we want to be. Remember, the O, the A, and the P in the sOap framework are all about filling the gap that was created when we told our story, and that's the difference between where we are and where we want to be. Green hat is all about creativity and innovative thinking. It's about coming up with solutions that maybe have never been done before. Maybe something that's been done before but not by you would be a creative solution to the dilemma, to fill the gap based on your current situation. And finally, the blue hat is all about processes and organization. I like to, in this one, look at what other people in other industries have done or what other people have done in order to fill the gap or solve the problem that I'm looking at. So today, all we're going to do is we are going to brainstorm options using the six thinking hat strategy, meaning we're just going to wear different hats so we can look at possible solutions and options to possible solutions from different viewpoints, different perspectives, in order to actually maybe see something and discover something that we haven't discovered before. I like to do this a lot. When I was a mom, sometimes I would put on my businesswoman or business owner hat when it came to dealing with a problem or a challenge at home. And the same was true in work or in corporate America. Sometimes there was a problem, and one of my favorites was, I believe that the penalty or the punishment should fit the crime. So if my kids did something wrong, I would come up with something that they needed to do that was appropriate for the situation. So, if you spill something, guess what? The punishment is, or the consequence, I guess, it's more of a consequence than a punishment, is you need to clean it up. And then I would apply that same strategy at work. If somebody did something wrong repeatedly and they weren't learning from their mistake, we'd find a way to help them learn from that mistake that was specific to them in that situation so that it made sense to them so they could actually learn the lesson that they needed to learn. It's a good lesson for all of us, right? If something happens and we don't like the way it goes, are we learning the lesson from that experience, or are we destined to repeat it over and over again until we learn the lesson? That was a hard one for me. It took me a lot of iterations of certain mistakes that I've made in my life before I figured out, everybody isn't awesome. Everybody doesn't have your best interests at heart, so you better have your own best interests at heart. That's it. That is our challenge for today. Use the 6 thinking hats, and I'm going to use my little ducky friends to remind me of the different hats and colors, but I actually also write them in my notebook and dot them out. There's a write-up in Guide 17 of the Get Up and Go private Facebook group if you need more information. Or I don't want you to have to re-listen to this, but if you need any help with this, if you have any questions, if you're having a hard time putting on a certain hat or another, realize, just like any other tool or technique or strategy, it gets easier with practice and time. And guess what? Every tool that I share with you isn't going to be a good fit for you. Every tool I share isn't necessarily one that I love and have had a lot of success with. Sometimes it's like this one. I've only done it a couple of times in my life, so I'm not great at it, so it gives me an opportunity to practice it. All right, have an awesome day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.